Have you ever felt like you're fighting a battle inside your mind while the world outside falls apart? Like you're trying to hold yourself together while chaos closes in from every direction? That's exactly the world Brandon Sanderson throws us into with Rhythm of War, the fourth epic installment in the Stormlight Archive. This is a story about war, yes, but more than that, it's a story about internal wars, the ones we fight inside ourselves. And sometimes, those are the ones that hurt the most. Rhythm of War picks up a year after the events of Oathbringer. The world has changed. The ancient enemy, the Fused, and their god Odium have risen and now rule large parts of Roshar. The humans, led by Dalinar Kholin and the Knights Radiant, struggle to hold their ground. The war is no longer just about swords and soldiers. It's about information, power, secrets, and above all, it's about who controls the hearts and minds of the people. From the very beginning, the stakes are high, and the pressure never lets up. In this book, we follow several major plot lines, each diving deep into the souls of the characters we've come to love, or fear. Each storyline weaves into the next, like the intricate rhythms of a haunting song, building toward a thunderous crescendo. Let's start with Kaladin Stormblessed. Once a slave, once a soldier, now a windrunner struggling to fly under the weight of his own darkness. Kaladin has always been a symbol of resilience, but in Rhythm of War, he hits a breaking point. War is draining him. He's tired of fighting, tired of losing those he swore to protect. And above all, he's battling a storm of depression that threatens to pull him under. What makes Kaladin's arc so compelling is how real it feels. He's not just fighting the enemy, he's fighting himself. Watching him wrestle with his mental health, with the pressure to be strong, with the fear of letting people down. It's raw, heartbreaking, and incredibly human. As he steps back from the battlefield and takes on a new role as a healer, we see a different side of Kaladin, a quieter strength, one that doesn't come from the wind but from the heart. Then there's Shallan, whose mind is a maze of fractured identities and buried secrets. Shallan's arc in Rhythm of War is one of the most psychologically intense in the series. Her past continues to haunt her, and she's still hiding behind her alter egos, Veil, Radiant, and more. Each of them represents a different piece of her soul, and the lines between them are starting to blur. As she delves deeper into the mysteries of the ancient Spren and the unmade named Syayanat, Shallan uncovers terrifying truths, not just about the world, but about herself. Her journey is about integration, about learning to stop hiding behind masks and finally face the pain she's been running from. Her struggle feels so deeply personal that it's impossible not to root for her. Meanwhile, Navani Kholin, once just a background figure, steps into the spotlight in a way that redefines her completely. She's the queen, the mother, the scholar. But now, in the tower city of Urithiru, she becomes something even more vital, a symbol of human ingenuity and determination. In a gripping storyline full of tension and intellectual warfare, Navani finds herself in a deadly game of minds with Raboniel, a high-ranking Fused who wants to use science and fabrial technology to change the nature of war. What begins as a hostile negotiation becomes something far more complex. There's respect, curiosity, and underneath it all, the looming question. Can two enemies find a shared rhythm before everything falls apart? Navani's arc explores the power of knowledge and the weight of leadership. She proves that intelligence can be as powerful as any sword, and her final confrontation with Raboniel is both brilliant and emotionally devastating. Dalinar Kholin, the Blackthorn, continues to bear the burden of unity, but his arc in this book takes a backseat to others as he tries to maintain alliances and face the growing threat of Odium. The political tensions grow tighter, and the desperation begins to show. Dalinar is no longer just a warrior. He's a leader walking a tightrope, with the future of the world hanging in the balance. And while his presence in Rhythm of War is more subtle, it's no less important. He represents the stability in a world that's on the brink of collapse. Now let's talk about Venli, a singer, once a traitor to her own people, now walking the delicate path of redemption. Venli's storyline introduces us more deeply to the world of the singers, their culture, their pain, and their music. She has bonded a Spreen and is becoming a will shaper, a radiant. But she's trapped behind enemy lines. Her journey is one of quiet rebellion, of planting seeds of hope where there is none, of carrying the guilt of her past while trying to shape a different future for her people. Venli gives us a unique perspective, letting us see the enemy not as monsters, but as people just as broken and desperate as the humans. Her transformation is not explosive, but steady and profound. While each character is on their own emotional journey, the overarching threat of odium looms larger than ever. The god of hatred is playing a long game, one of manipulation and contracts and subtle moves. He doesn't want to destroy humanity with fire and blood. He wants to win their souls. And in this book, Sanderson reveals more about odium's terrifying intellect and ambition. The enemy isn't just out there. The enemy is within. A central theme in Rhythm of War is the power of knowledge. This is a book about science and discovery, as much as it is about battle. The Knights Radiant aren't just warriors. They're scholars, researchers, philosophers. And through fabrial technology, through the secrets of Spren and Stormlight and Voidlight, we see the evolution of magic into something deeper. Something almost like physics. Navani's experiments with sound and vibration, rhythms, tones, frequencies, add a whole new layer to the magic system. Sanderson turns sorcery into science and makes it feel completely natural. You'll find yourself fascinated by the idea that even the soul of a god can be measured by the right tone. Urithiru, once a symbol of hope and safety, becomes the stage for one of the most intense sieges in the series. When the enemy takes control of the tower, all the major characters are thrown into survival mode, cut off from allies, hunted, forced to adapt or die. The siege transforms the setting into something intimate and claustrophobic. Tensions explode. Characters are tested in ways they never imagined. And by the end of it all, nothing is the same. Rhythm of War isn't just about grand battles and world-changing magic. It's about pain, trauma, healing, forgiveness. The most powerful moments come not when swords clash, but when a character breaks down. When they confess their guilt, when they choose to get up one more time. There's a moment late in the book when Kaladin faces the very heart of his darkness, and it's not about victory, it's about survival. That moment will stay with you long after the last page. Sanderson's writing in this installment is more introspective than ever. He takes his time, diving deep into character psychology, exploring themes of identity, morality, and what it means to truly change. At over 1,200 pages, Rhythm of War is massive, but it never feels bloated. Every chapter reveals something new. Every twist builds towards something greater. And by the time the climax hits, it feels like a wave you've seen coming from miles away. Inevitable, terrifying, and impossible to look away from. One of the things Sanderson does best is show us that heroes are not born. They're made, and sometimes they're broken along the way. Kaladin, Shallan, Navani, Venli, they all carry scars, but they keep moving. They keep learning. And that's the rhythm of this book. A rhythm of war, yes, but also of survival, of growth, of hope. By the final chapters, secrets are revealed that change everything. New radiants rise, old alliances crumble, and the war takes a turn that no one saw coming. The final confrontation is a symphony of emotion and action, where choices matter more than weapons. And when the dust settles, you're left breathless, awed, hungry for what comes next. Rhythm of War is not just a continuation of a series. It's a masterclass in storytelling, a novel that blends magic with science, action with philosophy, and fantasy with unflinching emotional truth. It doesn't just tell a story, it sings it. And once you start listening, you won't be able to stop. So if you're ready for a story that challenges your mind, pierces your heart, and leaves you with chills, Rhythm of War is waiting. The rhythm has begun. Will you hear its call? If you want to listen full audiobook for free, link in description.